Yo, greetings, I am Liz, and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together!
Yay!
Alrighty, so we have accused Muriel of being not only, like, part of a community, but also neighborly, and he's having none of it, and has returned to his whittling.
Who?
The whittliest.
The whittliest man. Alright. Muriel scoffs, and picks the stick back up. He resumes carving once more, though the stick is nearly whittled down to nothing. He really should probably give it a rest. He's probably a bit numb. Honestly. And Asra gives him an exasperated look.
Could you just not take a break, maybe? Not right now.
Not right now. Then moves to sit down at the table across from Nadia. The tiniest fucking table for one giant-ass man with one chair. Why would he ever be sociable? Let's go. Let's have multiple chairs. It's fine.
Okay, but also, like, there's a stool, and then Asra goes and just air sits on the other side.
Oh
like
my god, a complete edgelord! He just sits down on magic, like he basically creates a magical air chair.
Yep.
Whoop! Cortisone.
You're
Such a waste! The things you do with your time! Nadia, not a real magician. This is a real magician. Corazon, that's just because you're horny for— Never mind, I'm just gonna stop calling everyone out. Horny for me is what it is.
And for me, it is.
It's okay.
Corazon, you're just too horny for me.
That's what it is.
So very good at magic.
You don't think magic is any good unless you're horny for the person who commits the magic.
Pretty much. I've committed a magic. Alright, who's gonna commit a magic?
We might find out!
Ha! Be gay, do magic. Okay. What's out there? Oh, what's out there?
I
Pause.
What's out there?
What is it? What's out there?
I need to know.
I thought I was seeing things. Like rain and lightning and mud. Things.
Also, I'm surprised you could really see much of anything. So I don't know about all you folks who don't wear glasses, but like having rain blazing into your face, like I have a hard enough time as it is with having glasses that collect the rain. So I remember when I had like contacts and they weren't going anywhere, right? When I was a kid.
Right.
And you're just like, you can't still see when you have water gushing into your face.
So as someone who has been cited for free my whole life.
For free.
For free.
For free.
Everyone with glasses. How dare you say for free?
For free.
I was gonna say, I have not had a problem seeing in rain unless it is like an intense deluge. Mm-hmm. But if it's at a distance, yeah, it's definitely broken up when there's a heavy rain. Mm-hmm. And we can't tell if it's, like, as far as we can tell, it was a soft, gentle pitter-patter of rain with intense lightning and thunder.
I know!
Because there's barely any there. It's like, we're damp, but we're not soaked. It's like, it was just that really light misting rain.
We were moist.
On those beautiful days where it's just, like, barely coming down. It feels good.
Nice.
But, there's lightning and thunder just destroying the world.
Right.
I assume that...
The beast.
There was a beast in the road when we crashed. You get the Beauty and the Beast from the Disney one, just looking at you like, shoot, runs away.
I'm so sorry. I got right, standing on two legs, missing an arm.
There was a thing that I maybe saw kind of like an idea of. Let me be extremely specific about this. Yes, the thing I barely saw and did not identify well looked exactly like that. However, did you know that? Stunned that I suddenly remember it in more detail. Asra, he's here, skulking around outside in the shadows. But not outside in the light. But since there's clouds everywhere, it's all shadows.
The goat is very anti-light.
But it's 100% shadows right now.
I would love it, honestly, if more monsters skulked in the light.
I know.
I feel like it is an underutilized space. Because the thing is like, humanity is so honestly focused, like, as far as I know, like, at least our sciences that I've been exposed to is so heavily focused on light. We measure, basically, light on how much light there is, like, not on, like, how much darkness there is. There literally is a language, and it does mean things when you focus on how much light there is compared to how much darkness there is.
Okay, so skulking in the light, I was just thinking of pangolins.
Oh,
and the way they walk, they skulk in the light.
They do.
Okay, if you have never seen a pangolin,
this is your time.
This is your time to look one up walking right now.
Yes.
They have the most beautiful, like lovely. It's a very elegant skulking walk because they're super hunched over. They have their little hands gripped together. It's very beautiful.
And their long tail too that balances them out so they can walk. It's really wild.
It's so good. They're such good dragons.
They really are. He punctuates the sentence with a harsh scrape of his knife really jerking that knife real hard across the wood.
Digging in, I guess.
The pile of wood shavings at Muriel's feet has grown to a small mountain, and when compared to a man of his size, it really is a small mountain.
It takes
so
up...
basically, what he was whittling on was a large log.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That was not a stick.
I was whittling on a stick, and I've made a large mountain of shavings when the stick was mostly gone before the large mountain happened. That is a log.
That is a log.
Corazon, that is a log.
That's a log.
He was whittling on a whole tree.
That's a tree.
Also, I'm just like, it takes up 1/3 of the hut now, the wood shavings.
I mean, it looks as if Muriel would like to quietly disappear into them. I think rage! I wish to disappear into the... I'm gonna set a fire.
Okay, but can you imagine someone going, I'm trying to whittle for comfort, and then I realize it's making a pile, and then you're like, your whole entire hiding instinct goes, I could just bury myself in that. Whittles harder, just burrows in like a groundhog.
I was about to say, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of sand boas.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, but yeah, basically, so burrowing animals of any kind, like voles or whatever it is, or worms, you're just kind of like burrowing time.
They're like, bye.
Bye.
It's okay, Muriel is a burrowing type.
Yes, he's getting more active. That's not good.
I thought activity was really good for you. They always say you should get outside, exercise, be in nature. Keep doing good things.
He's doing great things. He's working on his figure. He's letting everybody know that he has the latest fashion, and it is offer.
Well, and people also go, like, just go outside and take a walk. He done it.
He done it. He do it every day.
He do it. Excuse me, but who is getting more active? What exactly is going on here? Okay, she went from, yes, how did you know, to, I am deeply suspicious. So for me, I would just, I don't know, that seems like a big leap. And perhaps she has some, like, inherent suspicion on her own.
Oh,
but
yeah,
from
of course.
going, I saw a monster. Yes, it did look like that. And someone going, it looks like he's getting more active. And then going, that does seem to be the case. What the fuck are you talking about? Who is it?
I mean, the thing is that I think she's used to being in the loop. She feels like they're ignoring her. That is what instantly I was like, excuse me, instead of answering, you guys went off on a tangent and went over, I'm the Countess! Waggle, 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 waggle. Excuse me.
Okay, so that's the entitlement. I like that. Okay, thank you. That helps.
That's what I thought. That was Lucio you saw in the woods today. Into the woods today. Diddly diddly.
And then, since this is our turn to talk, Nadia is apparently speechless.
Yeah, and the thing is that...
What I'm getting is, Asra says that to Nadia, specifically speaking to her, and she becomes utterly speechless, so we respond.
Which is sort of wild. And the thing is yeah, we have actually, though, seen him before, to be completely honest.
Yes, I don't think Corazon would be like, but he's dead.
But he's dead, because also Corazon has a connection to Lucio. But he's dead! Who the fuck cares? Like, the fact that that line even exists is actually mildly confusing for an MC in this particular route, because you have no connection to Lucio. Like, canonically, you do not know this character at all.
Okay, so
like,
but
for
he's
this route.
dead could just be, but how would a corpse walk? No attachment to him, just going, we're investigating his murder. That sounds weird, but he's dead?
Question mark?
How do you investigate the murder of someone who's alive?
Okay, that's fair. Alright, I can see that.
I think you were coming from the wrong direction. It wasn't about, but Lucio's dead. It's about, but we're literally investigating that dead guy.
How are we investigating a dead guy? Yeah,
if he's alive.
Alright, so, we've seen him before.
That's true. In his old rooms. But he was just a spectre then, haunting the place of his death. And in the deluge before me, as I suddenly saw him while I was riding and panicking, in a flash of lightning that lit him up, extremely briefly, then I was able to identify that he was not a spectre and was in fact fully corporeal this time. Yes, the amount of detail she has seen increases by the moment.
Woo! Amazing.
I still loved that, actually, though, in 80 Days, when it was like, it seems like the age of this girl decreases with every sentence.
I know! God, that was really funny.
Okay, anyway.
To be honest, alright.
Hunting the place of his death.
You really like to say palace.
The palace of his death. I mean,
palace.
it is the palace of his death.
This, Lucio. This is the palace of my death, everybody!
Yes.
Check it out! Waggle, waggle, waggle.
There we go. See, I told you. More sure every second.
Hey, there we go.
This monster thing that I kind of saw briefly. I know exactly what it was.
I pride myself, though. And again, she might be very good at, like, basically having very strong absolute opinions, basically.
So if she's like, if it was kind of that at all, it's that.
But, again, she's also, like, I don't know, I haven't seen too many people that also contradict her. So I don't know if she would be incredibly defensive if somebody challenged her.
That thing we saw...
No, she was really defensive. when we go, hey, you should probably work on your relationship with your siblings. Like, it is a touchy subject, so you can have more or less
That's right,
touch.
she was defensive towards Corsa.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Alright. That thing we saw in the forest was quite corporeal. I assure you, I hit it with my carrot. No.
I hit
the
it with my...
horses ran over it.
Lucio, hit a Bomb!
Screaming goat. I was in a Puna with a bag of screaming goats. Unless I am mistaken, I do not think that is how spirits function. Corazon.
Holy shit, she's asking us?
Okay, but
okay.
I assume
this just adds more into your MC going, I am more of a shitheader, basically. I have more power than Asra does at this point. Like, I'm pulling away from Asra. Because why the fuck, like, even that your character responds to this. Like, remove the Corazon entirely, which I think is hilarious and fits Corazon fine. But, like, your character doesn't turn around and just go, I'm not exactly sure. From what I've understood from Asra, like, this still deference to your actual master.
who's right there.
Uh-huh.
Also, I'm going, is learning about spirits part of your regular magical training? Like, I haven't seen any context in most of the rest of the game for ever learning about spirits ever.
Yeah.
Let alone Astra being vague about everything. But also, yeah, the fact that the MC doesn't, like, one, that she asks, you, is a level, like the MC, is a level of, like, I have preference for your knowledge in all things. Which is kind of entertaining and funny.
Yeah.
Given that your master, the other authority, the most authority in the city, is right there.
At least according to what we've
the
learned
lore
from
of the game.
Yeah, or at least that I understand from Julian's route. So, but however, in this particular storyline, even with the beginning intro, like, I still am like, I don't know where you would ever, like, believe that you should, trust your main character that much. So, I don't know.
Okay, and I do think it's hilarious that the MC is like, I won't look at Asra, I don't bat an eye, I'll just go,
I don't think that's how spirits function. It's not, but he isn't a spirit. Not really.
He's a goat.
He's a goat.
Bleh.
Man.
Lucio, I am hot and edgy and powerful and angsty.
There goes Bleat Man, the sexiest thing we've seen so far.
Oh my god. Somebody in the forest reporting, today we're looking out for our local cryptid, Bleat Man.
and Bleat Man will be seen in the dark of night, skulking through the shadows.
Usually seen skulking in the shadows, especially on rainy days. I suddenly wanted him to see that's basically a reporter.
That is some like supernatural junkie, like cryptid hunter thing, like vaguely in that kind of way. Like, that would be hilarious.
So, like, what do you
like, you have a world of magic, but you were wanting to push it even further, of trying to find the most out there bullshit ever, and Astra's just constantly like, this stuff is made up.
And you're like, no,
it's real. I've seen it. I've heard reports.
It's the higher magic. It's the more magic. If regular people don't know about the stuff we know about, then there's stuff we don't know about either.
That's how it works. Asra, no. That's the Arcana. Yes.
Yes, Asra, no. I have contained all the magic ever when I built this deck in Solitaire.
When I did it in Solitaire in the prequel.
If anyone is listening to this and you do not know what Solitaire is, our Julian root. We made a headcanon theory that Asra built the deck, the Arcana itself, in what would be a prequel game called Solitaire, because he plays it by himself. And it's also where he dated all the MCs. I mean, all of the other romanceable options, and captured all of the Arcana.
Yeah.
Anyway, it sounds fun. So if you're just wondering what that reference is, all right. Then, what is he? A monster. A monster.
Muriel says, with his dark black hair, which we still actually going to put in here. We didn't comment about it because we were super distracted with something else. But Muriel, so when they mentioned that Muriel's dark brown, long, shaggy hair gets in his face, we were distracted with the long, shaggy hair part because that's weird.
The curtain.
But like the curtain, whatever it was. But like curtain of hair, when he clearly also has black hair. That's
I don't think
brown.
it even said dark brown. I think it just said brown.
Yeah, I might have. Whatever. It said some form of brown. That is not brown.
No, as far as I know, it's been black the whole time, and that was a good catch, Drakonishi, because
so we're gonna put this here as like an earmark and go, thank you.
Yeah.
The writers are not agreeing with the artists again.
Yeah, so sometimes it's hard to catch everything in this game.
There's a lot in this game.
A monster.
Whatever he is now is not natural. Beyond that, we don't know.
Because specters and spirits and goatmen are natural, but whatever he is isn't natural.
Angry bleating.
this intrepid little MC with, their quill and pin, scooting through the forest, ready about cryptids.
It's like a Luna Lovegood kind of character,
Uh-huh.
but probably also a little bit more, like, crazy. Like, and I mean that in an affectionate way. Like, a little bit more, like, having to go, yes! Like, a little bit more eccentric and intense, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Their enthusiasm super high. All right. Unnatural.
Of course.
Of course.
And I love the fact she just accepts it. Oh, of course, I know what an unnatural is. I saw it last night.
Right. And she really is. She's just like, of course. You don't know what that means. You don't know what
it means unnatural.
You don't know what unnatural in the magic and spirit world means.
Especially when you have no... That's the thing that sometimes I always find to be really funny about characters that are, like, deeply non-magical in magical worlds, and you go, wow, this is the most natural-looking thing, and you're like, bro...
Huh.
Bro!
Someone who is utterly non-magical. The magician. This thing, in certain magic terms. I get you. Fully.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're like, you be as strong.
Good job.
Of course. Let me see if I understand this properly. My husband may or may not have died. No, he may or may not have died. He just may or may not be dead. I don't think you're listening. We're talking about right now, not in the past. We're talking about currently. Nadia, come to the future.
Nadia, you gotta stop being stuck in the past. Keep going.
Then he may or may not have become a ghost, and also apparently a goat.
I love the a goat.
A goat. Her quietly just going, picturing, like, brain, in the way you get intrusive thoughts, just immediately pictures him kicking down the door and going, wait, nighttime, blah. Honey, I'm home. You may be in my embrace now.
Hey, honey.
Her,
I didn't know you were a furry, did you?
her tonight having these horrible dreams. Completely different horrible dreams. The prophecies are gone. You figured out how to remove them. You're going to dream about terrifying goat men trying to make love to you.
Part of the thing is I've actually always wondered, like, just from, like, us playing this game, if whether or not they even had, like, a stereotypical wedding night or the expectation for, like, at least my culture. So
I would tend to wonder if they've ever had sex at all.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Lucio made a reference at one point, like when we saw the ghost and thing, you miss being, like, in my arms, in my embrace, so he implied it.
Okay.
He implied you long for my...
But the thing is she might also then not remember because if they're, like, those years...
She wouldn't
clearly,
remember, because she doesn't remember marrying him. The only thing she remembers about arriving at the castle is, like, the bridge.
Yeah, and that was it.
And so entering it, doing whatever, circumstance and ceremony, planning the wedding, being in the wedding, 2 years of being married to him, she doesn't remember any of that.
Yeah, she really doesn't.
Or wait, no, he died right after they got married, because he died 3 years ago?
Thought?
He died almost instantly after they got married.
So
was he sick when they got married?
Why would she fucking... Oh, she had plans. She was like, he will hop himself off and...
Or we don't know the maturation and aggression rate of the virus. Like, maybe people catch it and they die
remember,
in a couple of days.
From Lillian's thing, they were like, they die real fast.
He did talk about it. He's like, one day you're coughing and then, like, a couple days later you're dead.
Yeah, that, like, it's super
So basically,
fast.
she showed up at the castle, and then he died within, like, a week or two.
Except that apparently he lasted a long time, which was what made him weird.
So maybe he died in, like, a month or so you could still call it 3 years ago kind of thing.
Right.
And then she doesn't remember any of that time or the following 2 years, and then she fell into a slumber.
I think my favorite part about that, though, too, is, like, literally nobody else at the castle seems to remember that either.
Well, they don't talk about it at
Yeah,
all.
well, why would we?
I would say,
or, like, even the people in the city going, hi, she just hasn't been visible for a year, but the 2 years before that, she was really weird, or whatever.
Or we have no opinion. On the other hand, we haven't really talked to anyone in the city.
We really have. It's so weird. We're very isolated in this story.
We haven't,
anyway.
Yeah, talked to her. The isolationist fantasy is strong. Additionally, as far as I can tell, Asra covered so many other things in our education, including, obviously, spirits now, and horseback riding on one magical day where we learned everything.
Where we've never been outside and we've never seen the districts, though, which I'm still giggling about.
Hold on. We've been outside. We just haven't been to very many places.
Yeah.
Because, we know how else would we know the pumpkin bread?
But we've been horseback riding. I'm like, of all the freaking priorities, horseback riding?
Clearly very important. He had a wild hair up his butt that day. At any rate,
so
there's this experience of going... I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Why?
Goat timing.
Of he would never tell, your MC about your political structure or about your countess or about the history of her and her experience. You know, I know the Count died 3 years ago. Yeah, but do you know anything about what's happened since then? And has anyone ever talked to you about the political climate of things? And you wouldn't remember the first year of your life when it would have been big news.
Right.
Because, you know, you barely knew language and stuff like that.
Right.
But I was going to say, but it would be weird that you would never encounter it with, like, people coming into the shop or anything. Of going, yeah, the Count died, and then fill in the blank for 2 years, and then the Countess disappeared a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then reappeared 3 months ago.
Yes.
Like, that would be, I would think, hot topic, hot tea.
Yes.
That would be a thing to share.
Aye.
And also, apparently, a goat.
A goat.
And now, he is tormenting travelers in the forest for nefarious reasons currently unknown.
At least you assume he's tormenting travelers, or he's just tormenting you. You have no idea.
She is assuming, because this isn't a question, this is a statement.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So all of these things are, I'm not really checking with you, like, are these things true?
She did say, though, correct me if I'm wrong. Remember?
Right, she did say, what I understand right now is this.
Yep.
So yeah,
this is
correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what's happening. And how exactly do the two of you know all of this?
And neither of them fucking correct her.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, and then she doesn't give any space to correct me if I'm wrong. She asks her question first, so they would have to then correct if needed and then answer her.
Yes.
Well, he's been bothering Muriel out here, and he's spoken to me. It's undeniably Lucio.
How do you know all of the things I've just said? Well, because we know it's Lucio.
Except that also, like, are you really freaking telling me that, like, did like a month go by from when the prologue happened to you now spending time, to follow me? Like, okay. So what I'm saying is we've been tormenting. We literally just saw him maybe less than like 4 days ago as a ghost in the castle.
Right, but apparently he could always have come back there. He could be doing this all the time.
So we're saying that he has a corporeal and he has an incorporeal form.
Potentially. And
which they're not clarifying.
And that he also can travel between different locations and or possibly be in multiple locations
but
at once.
I also got the fact that, like, at least, again, I'm using this based off of, like, Julian's route was basically, like, a serious amount of, like, he had a lack of power. Like, and he was trying to figure out how to sort it so that he could get it to work. Like, he was suffering pretty hard, and that he didn't have a body. I'm like, the changes in here are confusing.
Either that, or, and if he's gone from not body to body, and he just has a body now, right? I was gonna say, then basically...
that was the big deal, we took our body last route.
Then basically, Asra and Muriel are being dramatic, and he's been doing this for 4 days, so this is what he's been doing.
This is what he's been doing.
This has been going on.
Okay. And then he talked to me. Okay. That might not be so hard. He did the same thing to us without a body.
Yes. I will admit, the beast spoke to me as well, when it was not a beast, but an incorporeal form.
In a furry form.
In my departed husband's voice. But death, as I understand it, is intended to be quite permanent. It's designed that way. It's part of the program. Please don't say I'm still married to that man.
I mean...
Whatever we saw today was very much alive. And what of Demorak? Even if Lucio is back in some form, the doctor still murdered him.
Well, about that.
Oh wait, are we doing actual investigating?
Are we actually going to just immediately solve the mystery here, early on in the story? Because this is really early.
I mean, we solved it extremely early in Julian.
Well, yeah, but that's because that's like directly into Julian.
Because you're with him and he says I didn't do it.
Yeah, but you also have no confirmation from like literally anyone else.
It's true. You have to believe him
for a while.
You have to just.
At least I feel like it was way longer in his route. But then again, we're going through this one much faster than we do the other one. So time frames.
Because we have more context for the world in some places.
It's true.
I tell about that.
Is there something you would like to tell me
before I kill you?
Muriel? Yeah. Muriel looks startled. Eyes darting from side to side as our attention is suddenly focused entirely on him.
He doesn't like attention. I still don't understand. Her drilling him equates to him getting relaxed.
It doesn't make any sense based on the rest of his behavior.
I know that she would be calm and whatever else and polite and trying to be friendly, but a lot of times, like, I've even known people where it's like, any amount of conversation you levy at me, strange person, in my house, in my space, I can't handle this.
The only thing that works for me is basically that he did know who she was and he was trying to placate her. So he's like, I will work on relaxing because this is clearly what you want.
Right.
But I mean, there's no confirmation one way or the other. So
Yeah,
it's
we
just
don't have that part
a
of the
thing.
story because we've never
Alright.
heard of it before.
Suddenly focus on him. So 3 pairs of eyes stare completely at you. Him. I hate everything. Actually crawls and disappears into the shavings. Has grabbed a whole other log. Just pulls the
Somewhere, nerd. If this was like when he hid behind a pole.
Okay, reaches up to the roof, tears one of the roots off of it, starts whittling that aggressively.
Whoa. He goes back to whittling, staring intently at his hands, and mutters down into the space between them.
The stick is but like the wood is almost down to nothing. He has now whittled it so far that it makes a giant pile from when it was almost down to nothing. And now he whittles more intently and aggressively. This is an infinite stick.
This is a tree trunk.
Infinite stick.
Infinistick. Asra over there wiggling, going, don't cut your hands, la 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 la. This is Muriel's stress time.
Yep, infinity trunk.
Infinitrunk. I did pap it, it didn't go.
Nope.
Okay.
Lucio died that night, but that doctor didn't do anything. I see.
So,
I fully understand exactly what you said. It's fine.
for reasons.
Excuse me? Okay, I kind of love that. I listen to you. I see. Actually processes it. Does a mental double take. Excuse me?
WTF?
What? Okay, I kind of love that. Like, that is the most natural, like, human reaction that I've seen in a long time. Just going, I'm completely composed. And wait. Fucking what?
Bitch, what? Muriel shifts uncomfortably under Nadia's scrutiny, gaze averted. Asra gets up and moves to sit beside him on the bed, gently removing the dagger from his hands before he cuts his goddamn hands apart.
I am also just like, he's just whittling in his bed. He's gonna be full of wood shavings. He's gonna be sleeping on wood shavings. Now he'll smell really nice.
Oh, he'll smell delicious.
But he'll be super unhealthy.
What if it's pine?
Oh no, what if it's pine?
Oh god, that's super sappy though. Ew.
Oh, that'd be so sticky.
But then again,
Unless it's like aged dried pine.
he's whittling his wood.
He's whittling his wood.
I can't put the joke down, I'm fine. I'm a 12-year-old.
Okay, but it's gotta get worse. Because he's whittling his wood and he stiffens.
He stiffens for a moment because Asra's joined him on the bed.
And Asra has removed his hands from his task.
For a moment, and then relaxes as Asra touches his arm.
Pep. I was there when it happened. I used to work at the castle.
And as we know,
How do you describe that?
Quolian's route, that he was a big-time, basically, I would call him basically a slave. Like, to me,
gladiatorial slave. Indentured servant is a type of slavery.
Oh, yeah, so it's like, oh, it's not as bad. And I'm just like, no.
I mean, it depends. Some places, your indentured servants, you can't make them do anything. Like, you can't go, you have to bone me because I say so. You have to bone them because I say so.
Yeah, but the thing is if only one person knows what your contract is, you could make them do anything. Like,
some countries have, like, civil rights that humans are, required to have, basically. And even if you could do it behind doors, it's not technically allowed.
Well, it's kind of like, it was in Sparta? They actually talked about it, so you had 15,000 Spartans that were all free people, right? And they were all great, but they had like 100,000 slaves backing them up.
Oh,
and everybody, all the actual Spartans were free, of course, the free men, but you had to have this basically massively supportive underclass, and like depressed underclass too, that was oppressed. I mean, depression, oppression, yeah.
I was there when it happened. The doctor was in the dungeon that night. I took him to see him. I took him to see him.
Him. He's like, he can't say
Lucio. But his rooms were already on fire when we arrived.
Oh.
So I left. I'm just going to throw back to the Muriel riding on top of the elevator while Julian's in it so they can come up again.
I still thought that was the fucking funniest thing. How do you... Like, that makes no sense. It barely has enough room for one. This man is a stick. Therefore, if Muriel's gonna try... There's no way.
I just love the description of it. Barely fits Julian, and you're like, Muriel rode in that? No, he did not.
No, he did not.
He did not.
Muriel is like 4 times the size of Julian.
Mass.
Like, broad.
The mass.
Like, as far as I can tell with how they describe him, he is a giant, okay? Yeah. He is a sequoia. He is a redwood.
I left.
He whittles wood, okay?
is a different version of events than the one Consul Valerius and Praetor Vlasimil gave us.
Who also contradicted each other and sometimes themselves.
Oh, then again, there were aspects of the courtier's story that didn't quite add up either.
This makes no sense. Dvorak admitted to the crime. I've 2 courtiers who tell me he's guilty. What?
I appreciate that she's probably also trying to push going, okay, but these are officials. Again, they have higher, basically, points than you do on the social ladder. Why should I believe you anyway?
Additionally...
Let alone, but I mean, like, I'm also annoyed going, but their inconsistencies were so blatantly bad and obvious, I'd be like, it doesn't matter what points you have, you're clearly up on your ass.
Right, but the thing is she's been barely functioning for 3 months.
That's true.
And she hasn't really gotten to know any of them. And she doesn't know what context she doesn't have. So listening to a conversation that you're pretending to understand, but don't actually have like 80% of the context for ever talking to these people at all.
That's fair.
You're guessing so much anyway. You don't even know if they're actually contradicting yourself if you didn't understand.
Except the funny thing is like,
Sometimes.
we know even less than she does canonically in this story. So it's amazing at all, like, that your own main character wouldn't be like, I literally have no idea what the fuck is going on. Hello.
Yeah, there's that, but sometimes people are just very perceptive and going, I have a bad feeling about this. Right. Why should I take your word over theirs? It's just too convenient. As she accuses both Asra and Muriel of lying.
Why are you so sure that Julian killed him?
Because he admitted it.
That
People
actually...
don't lie about things they've done.
Aha!
In a way that doesn't benefit them.
But again, also, she's never talked to Julian, as far as we know. That's just been a confession, though, that supposedly was given to 2 people who already have contradictory stories.
Right,
now, I do get that people talk about in the realms of investigation, especially either under pressure, or if people are distracted, or not paying attention, or they think something isn't relevant, or they overemphasize, like... The big thing with taking testimonies can go wild. You can have people who are completely telling the truth, but the thing is what they're all focusing on is something else. Here is we all describe a scene in which a white car is the centerpiece of it, but we all picked up different things about different people who were moving around, various things that we thought were important. Like, in sociology, one of the big things we discussed was really just how much, based on also your background or what you think is important, or whether or not you're stressed out, or if you're afraid of cops, or...
In my psych class, my basic psych 101, they had, there's basically the gorilla question. And they literally show you a video, but they start with, try and figure out how many times the ball is passed from person to person. They say, we're going to show you a basketball video, and we want you all to focus and try and figure out how many times the basketball is passed during this video.
Okay.
So they tell you the thing to focus on. And then you watch the video, and everyone comes up with various different numbers, because it's pretty fast, and it's pretty muddled. It's not like a really clear visual, right?
Right.
And he's like, all right, how many of you noticed the gorilla? And everyone... freaking what? And when you watch the same video again, which they do it on a VHS, so they rewind it and go back, and you specifically then are looking for a gorilla, you see that there's literally this gorilla just walking through, waving his arm, a person in a gorilla suit, right through the middle of the basketball game, just scooting through, and that no one noticed it because they'd been told what to watch for, and that was what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And
this is the important part of the situation.
I say, but as far as I know, all she has is a report that he confessed, not actual knowledge that he confessed.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I understand.
Also, I will trust the apprentice, but not you, the master.
I know!
And in the meantime...
I know Corazon is judgy of Astra, but also, like, Corazon is like, he's still better at other things than I am.
He also literally has more years of knowledge than I do.
Like, quite literally. Though also, in its own way, Corazon might be resentful of some of it. Still, for sure.
Even when you're resentful for something, you still recognize it's there. Even if you won't pitch it to someone else, mentally, you're like, he's still a resource.
And I think also maybe that's like the thing too of like Corazon going, I can diss on my master, but you can't. Sort of thing.
It's that sort of like tropey sibling thing of I can shit on my family.
I will shit on dad, but you can't shit on dad. Alright, but we are actually out of time, so thank you very much everybody for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos. If you are having a good time with us, please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon. We have some links in the description down below. Hey, and we've also got a Twitch where you can actually watch us stream live. You can actually go to
talk to us.
I know! You can watch us do this in person.
And make your own memes.
Yes, absolutely. And please feel free to go check out our Twitter. We also have an Instagram. We also have a Tumblr. We also have various other sites. So feel free to go check us out there. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!